We have another 5-minute pro tip on collecting rent. What happens if your tenant is late with rent? So, if you watch some of our previous videos, we've kind of talked about that. In your lease, you should have the late rent penalty, which would be, for me, I collect $50 extra if the rent is 5 days late. And I let all my tenants know that if they don't make arrangements by the 10th day, if the rent is still late, then they're going to be served an eviction notice. Okay, so here you go. Why is it not necessarily bad if the rent is late? So we all want to be paid on time, right? But you wrote right into your lease what happens if the rent is late. You're basically, and almost every landlord does this, you're telling the tenant, hey, it's okay to pay rent late. It's just an extra $50 or an extra $100 or whatever your late fee is. Check out your laws and wherever you have your rental property that differs by state, differs by city. How much you can actually charge for a late fee. Keep in mind, this isn't financial advice, it's not investment advice. I'm just a YouTuber. I write leases up all the time, but hey, you can't trust me. Okay, so there's your disclaimer. So yeah, here's the deal, people. When somebody pays the rent late, you get an extra $50. Tenants have a habit, if they pay rent late once, they're probably going to be late the next month. So what does that mean for you? Yeah, sure, your rent is 5 to 10 days late, but you're making an extra $50 per month. So through the course of the year, it's $600 in extra payments if they pay the rent late every month. That's probably an entire mortgage payment for you. So there you go. That's why it's not necessarily bad if a tenant pays the rent late. You do want to contact the tenant, and I recommend to my friends and family that they contact the tenant and find out if there's a problem or if other arrangements need to be made. But a lot of tenants are just okay paying the rent late and paying the fee. So, you might come across this issue where the tenant says, hey, come on, man, you don't have to charge me the $50 fee this month. Let's just get that waived. Well, one way to address this at the beginning of the lease, when you're collecting payments, you let them know, hey, the late fee is automatically charged by the management program. There's nothing I can do about it. So if the rent is late, I can't refund you the $50. It's automatic within the program. All my tenants pay rent online, so the online service, Avail, that we've talked about before, automatically adds on an extra $50 if they're 5 days late or more. So at some point, you're going to want to have a conversation with the tenant, like I mentioned, and let them know again that, hey, the rent is due on the 1st. If you keep paying it on the 6th, you're going to pay an extra $50 per month. So as long as the tenant's okay with that, why aren't you okay with that? You wrote it into the lease. It just tells them they can pay the rent late. They have to pay the $50. That's fine. Then it comes down to how much of a pain in the butt it is for you to collect the rent late. Is your mortgage late now because you're collecting the rent late? If so, you may want to do something about that. But at the end of their lease, you can raise their rent a certain amount, or you can choose not to renew the lease for them and serve them, notice to vacate the property because the lease is over. This should be written into your lease as well. There's another video, another 5-minute pro tip we did on that, how to write that into a lease to make sure the tenant vacates on time. So it's kind of up to you which way you go with this. For me, it's okay if a tenant pays late because I'm making extra money in the meantime for my inconvenience, and they're able to get the cash in their account and they're not served any type of eviction notice. It's written right into the lease. Okay, that'll do it for this 5-minute pro tip. Link in the comments what you think down there. Go ahead and subscribe right here. Another video right here. And hit that like button down here. I'll give you a second right there, right there. Okay, hey, y'all have a good day.